Let's check out this video from HL Talk that thought she instantly regrets leaving a 17 years old marriage. That's a weird way to word that. Let's check it out.
Yesterday I told my husband I wanted to be separated from him, and I'm only crying right now because
Where's the tears?
that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I truly thought I was going to be with him forever. And I still love him so much, and I wanted it to be different, but it's not. Even just 5 years ago, I didn't understand how people who could love each other so much to get married and have kids and build a life together just throw it all away like that. Do I believe he loves me? Yes, I have no doubt he would absolutely kill for me.
Today we are going to review and understand the hypocrisy of this modern woman who decided to divorce her husband of 17 years. And the worst part about this story is that she still loves her husband. Let's first start by watching her crying while trying to justify her decision of leaving her good husband just to find something that she cannot even describe herself.
Yesterday I told my husband I wanted to be separated from him, and people keep saying sorry, and I'm only crying right now because that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. I truly thought I was going to be with him.
This is all performative. That's all this is. Just look at me, look at me, look at me. Look at this play that I'm putting on for you guys. Are you enjoying this? I'm enjoying the attention I'm getting from doing this. It's all performative. There's no tears. Sitting in her car making this TikTok. She loves it. Make no mistake, she loves the attention. She got bored. That's really what all this is. Oh, 17 years in, I'm bored. I'm not happy. I'm not happy, and I feel like putting on a show. I want to put on a performance.
Forever. And I still love him so much, and I wanted it to be different, but it's not. It's okay to be upset. This is 17 years of my life we're talking about. Somebody I shared children with, who I built a life with.
There it is.
So yeah.
There it is. Another woman splitting up a family. God, you love to see it, right? Obviously sarcasm. Yet again, it's time and time again, women splitting up these families, these selfish modern women. It gets to a certain point where it's like, what is going on? Just very immature. You can't really look past your own contentment, right? Oh, I'm not happy. I'm not content. Let me split up my family. Sorry, I love you and you love me, but family split. And it's like these women, I don't know, maybe this lady here, should we really even call her a woman? This little girl here, should I start pulling some female shaming tactics? This little boy, oh, you're not a real man. This little girl here, she's not a real woman. It's like I wonder, did a woman like this grow up in a two-parent household and really didn't get to see just how much a family being split up can affect a child's upbringing? I really wonder. Because I think children coming from divorced families are more likely to understand why you really shouldn't split up a family. I don't know, right? I think there is this idea that children that come from two-parent households are more likely to also continue a two-parent household and are less likely to divorce. That's not something I've looked into. Maybe I will after this video, but I wonder. I really do. This selfish thing, splitting up the family. You loved him. He loved you. You had children. 17 years. Really no big issue. Doesn't sound like there was any infidelity. No DV. Nothing. No real backstabbing. So what is it really? Are you just bored? Then don't get married, right? It's like, don't get married. Don't get married until you've completely... Hey guys, this is a woman with a fully developed prefrontal cortex. Her frontal lobe is firing on all cylinders. Is that what this looks like? Is this peak female performance?
Say sorry, but also say congratulations for also being really f***ing strong. because that was not easy.
No, that is not being strong. That is just deciding to destroy your family for your own selfish reasons and putting the blame on everything else except yourself. They think that life just happens. No, life just don't happen. Everything that occurs in our lives is the result of our own actions accumulated over time. She had a very big role to play in the breakup of her own family. But instead of admitting that, she comes on the internet to try to get sympathy and validation for her decision of quitting the marriage. I will show an example of the hypocrisy in this woman's thinking on this next clip. You will clearly see her bad attitude and how she doesn't even want to be helpful to her own husband in the marriage.
I can already see, not your mom, here we go again. Holy shit, Western women suck.
Check it out.
They can't do it. Don't help them. It is not your responsibility. If they get frustrated, they need to figure that shit on their own. You are not responsible for your partner. They are the parent too. They are a spouse too.
I continue to stand vindicated on that partner bullshit. All you guys in the comments that say, "Oh, you're too concerned. You're being a snowflake about the word partner." No, there's more to it, dipshit. And I continue to be vindicated by these feminists who preach partnership and not wanting to do shit for their spouse because it's a partnership, and they conflate a partnership with really not having to be nurturing, not having to be feminine.
They weren't grown up enough to be in this adult life, then they should not have gotten married and they should not have had kids. That's not your problem.
That is rich.
You can clearly see that this woman has an attitude problem. I can't imagine what this man had to endure during the whole 17 years of marriage. The level of disrespect of this woman is out of this world. I mean, she talks about her husband as if he was a kid. But I want you guys to remember when she said that you are not responsible for your partner. I really want you to keep that in mind, because you are going to see the hypocrisy on the next clip I am going to show you now.
And you know what? Seeing her attitude and how she is, maybe this guy is happy. Again, it's like maybe these guys are being freed from these crazy biatches. I mean, this is why you just shouldn't really... Oh, man. I just avoid... If you get any scent that she's a feminist, what's the point? I could have smelled this. I could have smelled the feminism on this woman miles away.
She will be trying to justify again why she left her husband for no valid reason.
Even just 5 years ago, I didn't understand how people who could love each other so much to get married and have kids and build a life together just throw it all away like that. But something never felt right with me. Something never felt right with my relationship. It was always confusing. Do I believe he loves me?
There's that female intuition that took her 17 years to really pick up on.
Yes, I have no doubt he would absolutely kill for me. But when it comes to nurturing and loving someone and like wanting to bend every will in your body for them and desire them or just take them out or make them happy, know their littlest things that make them smile. I knew all of his. And then I started paying attention to things that he was saying. The one example that always stuck out in my mind was when he described his uncle's relationship with his wife. His uncle was kind of a Rolling Stone type of guy, never really had a home. And he met his wife, and he said just how he dances with her and grabs on her and loves her. I could just tell that
grass is always greener.
He was the one, that he just loves her so much. That's an odd thing to say to a wife that you don't dance with, hug, grab, or touch on. And I think...
And did you communicate that to him, or did you not? Did you just soak in it and get all passive-aggressive until one day you decided to leave? It's like that's my question. That's my question with this. Did you communicate this to him? Let's see.
Little things like that throughout the years. And when he loved me, God, did he love me so hard. But then the next day, it felt like we were roommates. Like he didn't even talk to me. Every single time we got too close, In the past 6 months, he ignored me for a week after. He didn't kiss me. He didn't hug me. He barely even listened when I talked. Every time I brought this to his attention, the problem was always me. I could never be together. You know, I had to go back to therapy. I had to read all the self-help books, and you wouldn't believe how many I have read. And I have them all. I will show you. And I even went to school for psychology. So I studied.
I'm sure you did. I'm so sure you did.
This shit. I became obsessed with it because I was convinced that if I just did the right thing or said the right thing, that he would fall madly in love with me. It was never one gigantic thing. I wish it was. I wish I could be like, he cheated and I hate him.
Okay, well, you know, here's the thing, real quick. Earlier on in the video, she was talking about, you know, your spouse, you're their spouse, you're not their mom. And I've often talked about how it seems that modern women, they don't really know how to actually pull on a man's heartstrings. They don't know how to actually make a man fall madly in love with them. And ironically, it is kind of some of those nurturing and caring behaviors that do make a man fall in love with you. That also makes a woman irreplaceable. And yet, you know, women will then go and tell other women not to do this. So this woman, and again, we can only take our words with a grain of salt, really, because we're never going to hear the other side to things, are we? Of course not. Of course we're not. But if that little messaging or that little clip she put out really holds any weight about her saying you're not their mother, that kind of tells me a lot. It does. It tells me a lot. So you don't really want to do anything for the man. And it's just, there are women out there who understand this, and there are women out there who don't want to accept it and will have a hard time pulling on that man's heartstrings and getting that love they so desire.
Does he love me? Yes. Is he in love with me? No. Going into the unknown is scary. I didn't even know I was ready until it actually happened. It was intuitive.
She clearly said that she knows that her husband loves her and that he would even kill for her. I mean, what more do you want?
Good point.
Remember that she said on the other clip that you are not responsible for your partner. Now, all over a sudden, she is claiming that her husband should be doing all the little things that make her happy. Do you guys see the hypocrisy here? Happiness is a choice that comes from within. Many women have been sold the lie that their men should make them happy. And now she is talking about her husband loves her, but he is not in love with her. What the hell is that? At this age, these modern women still believe in the Disney movies they watched when they were kids. So let's get this straight. She divorced her husband just because he didn't take her out on a certain Saturday night when she wanted to go out. I mean, what the hell is going on? If your husband doesn't kiss you goodnight a certain day, why don't you go to him and kiss him goodnight instead, or even ask him if he is okay? Now guys, you tell me, who is the real problem here? Who is the childish one here? Who need constant validation just so that they can feel that they are okay? I think that we can all clearly see who is at fault here. Now, before we conclude this episode, I will show you why most of these modern women are so entitled. The people who encourage this stupid behavior from women are simps like this guy you see on the screen. This dude right here saw the clip of this woman crying and decided to make a whole monologue on how this woman is so strong for leaving her husband and destroying her family. This simp didn't even bother to check the backstory. He concluded that her tears cannot lie. I will just let you guys hear the garbage that will come out of this simp's mouth. But be warned, because this will definitely make your blood boil.
That was probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
Oh boy. Oh brother.
This woman told her husband that she wanted a separation from him after being married to him for 17 years. Now, she didn't go into great detail about what happened, but we should all know and understand that he was incapable of loving her with his entire heart. Without words, we know she tried everything because her tears said it all. There was frustration in her tears. There was love in those tears. There was strength in those tears. There was bravery in those tears. So I'd like to say to this woman, Congratulations. It takes a strong woman to ask for a separation after 17 years of marriage. You thought you were marrying a life partner who's gonna love you wholeheartedly in return. We know you didn't come to this decision easily and that you struggled with it for years. You only get one chance at life and you can't waste it on someone who's not gonna desire you and treat you like the special person you are. We are proud of you. We know you didn't arrive at this decision easily.
My apologies. I am sure that some of you almost puked just by listening to this blue pill guy running his mouth. But I had to show you why most women keep on thinking that this behavior is acceptable. The biggest problem is these simps who keep on validating this debauchery. These simps are everywhere, and some of them even occupy a lot of positions of power in the government. That is why it is so hard to change all these family court laws that incentivize modern women to destroy families. And it looks like the simp epidemic is not going to go away anytime soon. So fellas, all you have to do is protect yourself at all times. And above all, always keep your head up, focus on your goals.
Yeah, well, on that note, what he's talking about, he's absolutely right. And it's like most men still are kind of plugged into that whole blue pill lifestyle. A lot of them still think, we went heavy into this the other day, but a lot of these men out here still think that you should treat women with chivalry. And it's kind of just like they are in that way tolerating to be walked all over because none of these women qualify for chivalry. So it's just a very simpish, blue-pilled mindset that a lot of men have. And a lot of times, not to hate on the religious crowd or the traditional conservative crowd, but a lot of them are very blue-pilled. A lot of them are very simpish. And I guess the only types of women in the modern society or in the Western world that probably would qualify for chivalry would be religious women. But I'm not talking about like modern religious women. I'm talking about the real deal. I'm talking about legitimately virtuous women. And so that is where you might be able to find them. But again, it's still going to be challenging because they're still modern women. They still were raised in America. They still have feminist foundations. Unless they're balls deep in the red pill and they're like heavy on patriarchy and God and obedience and submission, that we can talk about chivalry. But other than that, no shot. And look, man, 17 years of marriage, the fact of the matter is there's going to be ups and downs, and you're not going to constantly feel loved. And a lot of times, in my opinion, this is going to happen in a marriage. And bringing in therapists and your psychologist, personally for me, I don't think I would do that. I don't really want that kind of third opinion coming in that is heavily indoctrinated by leftists and liberal colleges. No thanks. I don't need any more of that in my life or my woman's life or our relationship. No thank you. I think you're actually going to do more harm than good. So, but the fact of the matter is, it boils down to 17 years of marriage will not be perfect. And this woman right here probably is never going to find what she's looking for. Maybe she will find another man, and there will be fireworks and butterflies in the first year or so, or even the first 2 years, but she's eventually going to realize that it's going to fade as well. And it's not going to be that exciting. There's going to be days she doesn't feel completely loved, and there's really no perfect relationship. So when women do this shit, when they leave such long marriages, in a way they are kind of saying, I'm okay with being single for the rest of my life. Now, of course, there are exceptions to that. And even thinking about in my life, I know women who have left long marriages and now they are also with a man. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's like, what do you really think you're going to get? What do you think there's really going to be anything better out there? Is it really going to be that much better than what you had 17 years with your children's father? Is it worth it? Really? Like, what are you longing for? What do you think is really going to be that different? So, you're a single mom, and this is why, as modern men, you don't need to save these single moms as much as they want to shame you into doing so. They're voluntary single moms, completely 100% voluntary. There is no involuntary. I mean, sometimes, you will see involuntary single moms, widows, or men leave them, whatever. Most of the time, that's not the case. So you don't need to save them. You don't need to save these single moms from their bad decisions. But that's where I'm going to leave the video. So if you enjoyed that, I would appreciate a like and a subscription, and I'll see you later. Make sure to check out HL Talk That Thought. Bye-bye.